So now we still have two very interesting talks. One from actually both talks are from our awardees. The first one will be Professor Eman Gaad. She is the Dean, Faculty of Education, the British University in Dubai, and she will tell us about rare diseases and parental support, issues and challenges. Prof. Eman, please.
Hello, can you hear me well? Yeah. Right, okay. I chose not to have a PowerPoint presentation, is that okay? Right. Usually after long speeches, I'd like to ask people kindly to stretch. Is it okay to stretch? Go ahead. I want to see stretching. Up, down, yeah? Very good. Now you can listen better. Right. Okay. Right. As you know, people working in this distinguished field, usually whether they are doctors, social scientists, advocates, activists, they all go around one thing, which is making life better for people with rare diseases and, of course, their family. I specialize in the area of social construction, social stigma. What comes with the package? I've just had the honor to listen to doctors, professors about the specificity of rare disease, the genome, the genes, the very, very sophisticated stuff. But however, what we would like to do is to talk a little bit about the other side. I've seen Abdullah's mother today sobbing and crying when Abdullah's going. All she cared about, I'm sure she loved his speech, but as they were going into any Arabic speakers, put your hands up, Arabic speakers? Yeah, she was going in Arabic, Bismillah al-Hafiz, Bismillah al-Hafiz, Bismillah al-Hafiz. She was saying, God have mercy, God be careful, you know, I hope my son makes it there. And she was saying this, Bismillah majriha wa marsaha. I just hope that he makes it. All she cared about at this specific moment, while our distinguished Professor Ayman, and the other people were doing the talk about, is actually the safety and the care for her son. And that's what parents do. So today, very quickly, in a nutshell, I'm talking about supporting parents. How can we support parents when it comes to rare diseases? As we have seen from the presentation, people struggle. That's a fact. They struggle with social stigma. They struggle with diagnosis. We've seen a distinguished scholar from Oman saying that 3 years until the child was diagnosed and nobody knew what was wrong with her, the chest infection, etc. I'm interested in the other side, the flip of the coin when it comes to supporting parents with disability. I'm interested in the compassion and the passion. Who's supporting them? They supported their kid, right? We all agree? Yeah? Who's supporting them? So we talk very quickly about short-term support, immediate support, short-term support, and long-term support. Immediate support is breaking the news. Unfortunately, and until today, people are talking about 7,000 rare diseases. These are facts. 7,000 rare diseases. I don't know how many of them are known, but whatever it is, to that parent, that child, that rare disease is the focal point for years to come. They're going to have to live with this for the rest of their life, right? So we're talking about the immediate then. We give doctors, and I had the honor to be honored today, because one of the things that I do is we go and teach doctors about bedside manners, breaking the news. Breaking the news, once we have a diagnosis, it's bad enough and silly enough that people can live without diagnosis, but some rare diseases are diagnosed immediately, and some rare diseases are expected before birth, and some rare diseases are actually awaited if it runs in families, etc. So breaking the news and bedside manners are very important, number one, when it comes to this. We did research about breaking the news, about certain cognitive disorders and rare diseases. And one of the things that parents don't want to hear are as follows. One, he's not going to be able to do anything. Two, it's a lifelong commitment. Three, in Arabic, they say, Allah ya'awad alayk. God give you another one. Because actually, this is real research-based evidence coming from people saying that some professionals who are breaking the news to them are actually saying this to them, are saying things like that as if he doesn't exist. I've interviewed a very good scholar and academician and very well-known, nice person. Whenever I talk to him, he keeps saying, I have seven children. He has 8 children. And people say, you have to talk to this man, because in one hand, he's an amazing, influential, nice man. But on another hand, he doesn't count his son. He literally doesn't count him, as if he doesn't exist, because he has severe disability due to care disease. So the love and the care and compassion must be accompanied by the welfare and the quality of life for that child. We changed it and we came a very long way. Being here for 25 years in this beautiful country, I've seen a leap, people like Dr. Maria Matar and other people who's been helping and supporting to diagnose and find out. But breaking the news for a family is step number one. Number two, the short-term support for people with rare disease. What is it that we're doing now, right now? I've seen your beautiful presentation about this, but then when people come, you can say things about longitudinal studies. We are gathering 2,500 people to tell us the pattern. Parents are not interested. Parents want something now. My kid is struggling with his bones. He has a problem with the thyroid. I'm not a medical professional, but since I'm interested in the neurodiversity, I've read a lot about it. I try to make my way now. I'm a social scientist. But when I interview parents, they say, Eman, we have a problem. Doctors, and they are doing an amazing job. I'm a researcher. I believe in the longitudinal study. I believe that we have to have the evidence in order to do this. But on another hand, this mother now, she wants help now. So the short-term, immediate support is needed now. Simple language, no jargon. Okay, it's straightforward. Something about, I sometimes said, I have a PhD and I'm a professor. I consult for the United Nations. And guess what? When I sit in the presence of doctors, I shrink because I don't understand some of the things. And with the medical profession, they have this beautiful bond that they all like, they all think from the same sheet, which is fantastic. But at the end of the day, what would a mother want? Even with the most high qualification, if you're not from the field, you'll never understand. And sometimes, with all the respect, when doctor speaks, they are so familiar with what they say. But the parents, they just don't understand. I'm sure most doctors are very good in making the parent understand. But when it comes to rare diseases, people are worried about, is he going to die? Is he going to be paralyzed? Will I carry him for the rest of my life? And in developing country, how much will I get the money from? How much I need to do? Because that's also a factor. Because, carrying a rare disease is a lifetime commitment. All right? The severity, the specificity, the commitment, the support, the money on the head, what I'm going to do, all these are things. I have the other side of the coin. I interview people who are affected by rare disease. And I talk to them. And these are their needs. The short-term effect. What's going to happen today? When I walk out of your clinic, what will happen? Sometimes parents are struggling with this expectations of life. We have a great example. Abdullah's our students from the British University in Dubai, and we're so proud of him. And he's got a scholarship to do his PhD. And I can't wait to see him a minister, because he should be. But then again, 20 years ago, his mother struggled, obviously, with what's happening, because did people predict that Abdullah will make it, ever? Did people think that he would be today one of our speakers in this? So we have an issue with expectations, lifelong support, etc. At the end of the day, also the long-term support. Now we come to the specialist who's been talking about centers for rare diseases, etc. What's going to happen in 20 years? People would like to see the future as well. We don't know. At the end of the day, someone up there will decide our fate. But now and here, we need to also plan. So I'm talking about 3 immediate things that we have to look at. The immediate support, breaking the news, things that you should do. I'm trying to be proactive here. Things that you should do is arm ourselves with science. Unfortunately, researchers say that not everyone is familiar with those 7,000 diseases. Okay? And I have no shame whatsoever to say, I don't know. One of my students did an MA dissertation about 12 years ago on her own son who has a rare disease that is 1 in a million. And the first thing she's been told, next to her just a newly born kid, you need to prepare yourself. Just a mother who had a baby now. You need to prepare yourself. He's not going to, 5 years, we give it 5 years. So don't invest in his whatever. Maybe you need to know. And people were actually consoling her already. She just had the child. She said, Eman, all I cared about with this beautiful baby, I want to breastfeed him. And all what others care about is, he's going to go, you need to focus on number 2. Yalla, next. And that was sad Today, Curtis is 27 years old. 27 years old. He has a degree, he has his bachelor degree, he has a girlfriend, and he proposed to her a couple of weeks ago, and he's gonna get married. And look at that. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that we have all the answers, but I think if we don't know, we don't talk. Don't give false information. Make sure you support the parents right now. So number one is breaking the news, making sure that you arm yourself with science. If we don't know, we pause and we learn together. I learn with my students, and I have a couple of my students here in the room, and I never, ever, ever stand at the feet of my students without proposing, taking my hat off and saying, you go, you're the guru. This student has 50 hours of studying her thing. I have 1 hour in her tutorial. So let's just get back and relax and enjoy the ride, because she's doing all the literature review. She's doing the rest. So number one, when we break the news, we need to know our stuff. Number two, short-term commitment. I need to tell people what is it that we want to do now, okay? And going out of my clinic or my center, what is the impact of the rare disease on his life, education, support, social stigma. Number three, support. I'm a researcher, big fan of support, of research, but in order to get parents to be taking part in studies and research, we have to secure them first. Abdullah's mother cared so much about this, and I was stunned with her mumbling the words of Allah as he was going, because that's what she cared about, the safety and the care of her son. We care about the genes, we care about the genome, we care about what we do in order, how Abdullah is supporting the community today. She cared, to her, he's a son. So I think we need to remember that. At the end of the day, I can talk all day, I've got a note, 5 minutes, I will finish soon. I can talk all day about supporting parents with rare diseases, but the takeout here is say the truth. If you don't know, say I don't know. Work together, learn together, and of course, support with the short-term and long-term. Inclusion for people with rare diseases in education is a must. It is not a privilege, it's a right. So if you have a child with rare disease who's not in mainstream school, you go and talk to the school. Otherwise, come to us. There are activists, advocates who support the inclusion. He should not be in a center unless you chose to, because that's what supports his need. End of the day, the power of parents, my last point is cluster together. The togetherness of power of parents is amazing. I've seen things, I've changed things in this place, and I would never do it. Just met a parent today, and I would never do it without the power of parents. We, the people who are in social science, social stigma, the neurodiversity people, the neuroscientists, the geneticists, all these people will never work without the support of parents. They are the power, they are the rock, the nut that's holding everything else. So be gentle with them, support them, and do whatever you can in order to make their life easier by paving the way for them to, they know the child better. You can study all the books, but they can tell you the symptoms better than anyone. I rest my case here, and the floor is open for questions. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Prof. Eman. It's like a really fascinating session. It's inspiring, and okay. So yeah, people who missed this session missed a lot. Okay, any comments, questions, suggestions? Okay.
It was so wonderful, and I would just take a minute to share what's happening in India. As I told you, I have close to 4,000 plus children affected with Duchenne. And as you said rightly, the breaking the news, the short term and the long term is so important. And I'm from one of the premier institutes where I did my doctorate in genetics and biochemistry. And it is all, but then I understood it is more the family support. So we have a very holistic approach there. We have the molecular diagnostic, genetic counseling, clinical care, rehabilitation, all under one roof. Parents should not be running from pillar to post. And so that is something in this beautiful conference where we are seeing science and the human part of it, the compassion, which is very important for rare disorders. Thank you. Wonderful it was. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Dr. Zuhair, the mic.
Put it here. Thank you very much for your talk. Actually, the rare disease is now 9,000, not 7,000.
Oh, 7,000. Okay, you're the boss.
And number two, in Emirate, what you are doing regarding the community as a whole? Is there like support group, any social group for these patients?
Yes, we have the association here. The association started many years ago, and Dr. Mariam Water, we go back 20 years ago. That will tell you how old I am. And since she was a graduate from the medical school, she always cared about this. I love to see doctors with the social spirit, because that's what she did. The association support parents and supports researchers. And they have actually, they collect data as well to support the Emirates in gathering information about rare diseases. They have social science like myself, so the social scientists support with supporting parents in this time, and they have the geneticists, they have the doctors, they have etc. So the answer to your question is yes, we have an association. It's a registered association headed by His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan himself.
Okay, thank you.
I have one question, please. It's really refreshing to see the support for the parents, and I really love the part when you said about breaking the news, especially sometimes from experts, from professionals, whoever dealing with the parents. And my question, because you spoke a lot about the anti-ableism and ableism, you were speaking about the ableism basically, how sometimes professionals or people breaking the news to parents do that in a very in an ableist way, and ableist is discrimination. How do you think the professionals or experts or anyone in the field can break the news for the parents in an anti-ableist way? Because this is what really parents need, especially at this stage.
The very good question, $1 million question. What they do is, I always say, before you go out to the mother who just had a child, there is a lot of emotions. Anyone, if I ask anyone had a baby lately, there is a lot of sleepless nights, emotions, a lot of things. So that's, let alone if you have also a rare disease coming up. The best way we do it is we have like stages. The first stage is I go and actually examine and see what can. If we have 9,000, as the esteemed colleague here said, rare diseases, which one of those that is? And just remember the variation in this, because with the case that I was talking about, is the child, they looked at the other end of the spectrum. They actually looked at cases where the person will not live, he will not make it, it's 3 to 5 years. But there are cases where, I wouldn't say beat all the odds, we're not looking for miracles here, we're looking for facts. So number one, arm yourself with the fact. Number two, if there are variation in this end of the spectrum and this end of the spectrum, make sure that you know your stuff. Tell the parents that there are people with this disease who made it all the way with hardly any symptoms, and there are people with this disease who could not make it to their puberty. Guess what? I don't know. We need to do further investigation. I love the fact when people say, like a politician, when they say that, I really don't know, let's do this together. Number three, and most important, guide them to the Rare Disease Association, because we do have rare diseases. We've heard from Oman, we've heard from Egypt. So guide them to where to go. Researchers say that if parents don't have something to hang their anxiety on, they will transfer their anxiety to their kid. And that's not good. It's very unfair. So I would say the balance between the heroic, he's going to be great, and you, don't worry. No, he's not. Because he will have to struggle with wheelchair access, he will have to struggle with a lot of issues. So let's not have the rosy picture, and let's not have the gloomy picture, just have a picture. To say that this is the name of the disease that your child is bearing, we're going to help you to do this. And promise nothing that you can't deliver. If you can't deliver, promise nothing. Refer them to the expert. And this is my humble advice.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I will, yes, so this is to give me the honor of give you the selfie and take picture with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.